Here we go.
All right. So I just showed you the article in the paper about Emily Landau. Emily Landau Fisher. One of my customers at the Four Seasons.
Do you remember when you first met her?
As soon as I got there, when I first started there, I'm trying to figure it. Stop it for a second.
No. 1998 is when you started.
I started in 98?
Yeah.
See, I don't remember these things. I started in 98, and I was there for 12 years, so there you go, 2000. But the Fisher family was always at the Four Seasons. I met Richard Fisher, her son, who I got along with very, very well. I always had his sterling silver straw waiting for him on the table every time he came in.
He had his own straw?
He had his own straw. And I had it cleaned after lunch. I had it cleaned in the dishwasher, and I had it in my desk. And when he'd be here the next day, I'd put it down right next to his Diet Coke. He never drank. But his brother Tony, we used to come to the restaurant as well. Both men, sadly, are gone. Tony was killed in a plane crash where he and his wife and his daughter took a private jet to look at a college, and the plane crashed.
Oh my gosh.
The daughter, they found her walking around the airplane.
That's
She's
incredible.
the only one. She's the only one who survived. That's a true story, and of course, Richard lost a son. I think it was Richard in a traffic accident, but that was on Thanksgiving. They were supposed to come to the restaurant for dinner, for Thanksgiving dinner, and because of the accident, obviously they didn't come, but we missed them. So, Emily Landau was the mother of all these Fisher brothers.
I've heard you say the Fisher brothers a lot.
Yes.
So who are the Fisher brothers?
The Fisher brothers are a real estate company, a very big one, right on Park Avenue, like 2 blocks away from the Four Seasons restaurant. Mm-hmm. And now Winston Fisher, which is Richard Fisher's son, this gets confusing, is now with other Fisher boys running the company. So that it has continued. Mm-hmm. But Mrs. Landau, she was the grande dame in New York society. Of course, you read the article, and you know she had a burglary in her apartment where she lost all her jewelry. Mm-hmm. And with that insurance money, she decided to go into the art world. And
let's pause and say there's an article in the New York Times today that she just died.
Yes,
she just died. And there's an article in the New York Times in the obituary section. So if you haven't seen it, check it out.
Okay.
And it has a good background on Emily Fisher Landau and her influence and what she did to bring. Right. Well, it was a snapshot on how her presence impacted the art world and the collection of art.
Yeah. See, you should have recorded that.
Luckily, we already are.
Oh, good. That's good. Because basically that's it. She got into the art world and became very influential. There's not much I can add to what you said there. Mm-hmm. But I love that her first artwork was a Calder mobile that she carried home on the bus to get home. That's pretty brave. In any case, she sort of paved her own way in the art world. Mm-hmm. Working with Arnie Glimcher at the Pace Gallery, she really started getting into buying new pieces and learning, or sort of picking out what she liked. Getting into the more contemporary art scene and younger artists as well.
The sort of synopsis, well, when you look at this article and you read it and you maybe think about who this person is, they give you a little snapshot on like, oh, she was sent to be a secretary.
Yeah,
that was her job that she was sort of assigned. You're going to be a secretary, you know.
Yeah.
So it's then like, I guess
do something useful.
You're right. Be a secretary.
Right.
Exactly. So now we're talking about like women in the workplace type of mindset.
Right.
And then, so she had a collection of jewelry in her house, a big collection, a very like valuable collection of art jewel pieces in her house that was stolen. there was a heist, a jewelry heist on her apartment.
Right. Listen.
And so this article talks about this jewelry was stolen from her apartment, and because of that, she was, she had insurance on the jewelry, so she got money from the insurance, and she was like, "Great, no problem. I'll just start collecting art on the walls."
Right. Getting a little worried about this guy. He's going to have to go out soon.
Okay. We can wrap it up soon, maybe.
Well, let me just tell you about my experience with her in the restaurant.
Okay.
She was always a delight to come in. A little bossy, but the sons, Tony and Richard, my contemporaries who were running the Fisher brothers at the time, they deferred to her for everything. Mommy, It's like, my mother's coming. And that meant, all souls out here, everyone on deck, But it was always funny when Richard Fisher would bring her in for lunch, because they would always order an omelet with caviar. And I always made sure that she got more caviar on hers than he did. And he would, and she loved that. And Richard Fisher would be making believe that he was upset with me for doing that every single time. It was pretty much a routine. But I had his sterling silver straw next to him.
What did he drink out of the silver
Diet
straw?
Coke.
Just Diet Coke?
Diet Coke.
That's it.
That's it. And the thing is, he would sneak up into the private dining room to have a cigarette. And Alex and Julian didn't care. All right, give him an ashtray. There's no smoking anywhere. But he goes, I'll take my coffee upstairs. And we would serve him coffee there. But I went to Mrs. Landau's house a number of times for funerals. We mentioned the deaths in the family. When Tony died, we had a big thing in her house, but there were Rothkos on the wall. The artwork was everywhere, and there were Degas in the dining room. So here I was in the dining room, just setting up a buffet table, and all this beautiful artwork that she was in, that she loved. Anyway, that's my story about Mrs. Emily Fisher Landau. And by the way, this portrait that you see in the paper, that's Andy Warhol did that of her. So she hung with the more progressives back in the day, and there she is. And matter of fact, for her birthday, they made a T-shirt with this on it, and she gave me one, and I gave it to my daughter for school. She wore it to school. Mrs. Landau was thrilled that there's a fourth grader going in with a shirt with her Andy Warhol's picture on it. So
that's amazing.
It is amazing. My daughter, I said, look who passed away. She goes, oh, I have a T-shirt like this. So anyway, my wife and my daughter weren't duly impressed, but when I saw that she had passed, I just wanted, to mention that she was fun, she was funny, and it was great to have her around. There was always a buzz when she came in. Everyone flitting around, her and stuff like that. Whatever you need, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But she would come, John, hi, it was great. I loved it. I liked her very much.